Hey guys! For those who are new to my channel, my name is Elena and I'm an expat living and working in Ukraine. This summer I visited one of the most beautiful and mysterious locations in Ukraine, the Zakarpattia region. Zakarpattia is located in western Ukraine and is tucked away between amazing, beautiful pine forests and the Carpathian Mountains. Overall, I spent 7 days in SYNEVIR, which is one of the main locations in Zakarpattia, and I filmed so much content in these days that I have to divide this episode into two parts. So in the first episode, I'm gonna tell you how not to get to Lake SYNEVIR by bus, which was a major mistake that I made, but I'm also gonna show you how I saw more than 15 brown bears all in one place, how I fed ostriches and reindeers on a farm, how I sailed on a raft in the middle of Lake SYNEVIR, how I rode my bike through the prettiest of landscapes and how you can do too. Finally, how I drank a lot of Carpathian tea and ate a lot of bograch and banosh, which are the traditional dishes of the Zakarpattia. Let's go! It's 1 hour until our final stop in Mіzhgіrya, and we stopped here for toilet, and it felt like I went to my grandmother's in the village. It smelled really bad and it's really wet outside, but 1 more hour and we are on our final destination. Okay, so first things first, the transportation for this trip was a disaster. I don't know what inspired me to take the 5-hour bus from Ivano-Frankivsk to Mіzhgірya, and from Mіzhgірya the local bus to Sinivirska Polyana, which was a couple of kilometers away actually from our final destination of Lake SYNEVIR, where our lodging was. So in a nutshell, it was not comfortable at all and it was not cheap either, as you'd expect from local transportation, from public transportation. We just arrived at the Mіzhgірya station and apparently there is no bus to SYNEVIR where we need to go. Everybody was pretty rude about it, to be honest. But luckily we met a couple who had the business card of a taxi driver who drove them to Sinivirska Polyana, and he's coming to pick us up. But the trip is 500 hryvnias. So this is the same price as the transfer that the hotel wanted to arrange for us, and we thought we could find cheaper. Yep, going. Welcome to our humble abode. Let me show you the apartment. It's very bare bone. It's in a house made completely out of wood. And the owners of this establishment told us that we should be really quiet because you can pretty much hear what the other people are doing in the house. But this is our only room, has a really big bed, has a TV, although no cable, one bedside table, and an amazing view. Come here. It's been raining for the last couple of days and the river is very full of water. And the last thing is the bathroom. This is one of the things that I was most stressed about because we are pretty much in the mountains, but it has a really good shower, a sink, toilet. Everything is pretty standard. This room right there was 950 hryvnias per night. I know it's super expensive, but was the last room that was available. Everything else was booked. So we basically had no option and no say in this. However, after researching on the spot, I found out that people who booked their trip to SYNEVIR in advance only had to pay 600 to 700 hryvnias for a whole house, like a whole house with a couple of bedrooms, a kitchen, toilet, bathroom, and even a bathtub or jacuzzi sometimes. So this trip could be much cheaper if you plan it in advance, and that unfortunately wasn't our case. We had food at 10 a.m. this morning, and now it's 4 p.m. So let's see what kind of food they have here. This is bograch, and it's a meat lover's paradise. It has potatoes, some sort of vegetable, but the star is obviously the meat. There are pieces of meat, there are also baby ribs, and there are pieces of sausage. It's very hearty, a little bit spicy, and it makes just the perfect meal after the road. The main dish is banosh with pork rinds, some salted cheese brinza, sour cream, all on a bed of polenta. I'm walking to the local shop because the rain has stopped, and I thought, let me get a raincoat just in case it starts again. And maybe then, if the weather permits it, we will be able to go to see the lake. We decided to go to Lake SYNEVIR, and when we went outside of the hotel, it was not raining, and then it was raining pretty hard, and we walked maybe only 400 meters. So let's see if we can make Lake SYNEVIR today a reality. Otherwise, we might need to head back to the hotel and wait for another day. Better be dry and not very fashionable than wet and sorry. The ticket for an adult is 30 hryvnias, and if you want to go there by car, then it's 75 additional hryvnias. We are inside of the SYNEVIR Lake Natural Reserve. I think it's about 1 kilometer to the lake itself. The air is so fresh after the rain. There are not too many people, and that's a good thing. I think, again, thanks to the weather. We'll come from this side, and apparently there's a place where you can look at the lake, there's a place to go on horses, then some food, some restaurants, toilet, and even a camping place. And then in the center of the lake, there's a small island. I think you can get there, but now due to the weather, I'm not sure whether that's possible, and you can actually cross to the other side.
Я зроблю вам спочатку один, а ви спустуньте. Що вам понравиться? Здесь ягодки и травы. Пробуйте. Пробуйте на сахар. Надо ли сахару?
We finally reached Lake SYNEVIR, and the beauty of this place is beyond description. You really have to come here to see it. We had a Carpathian tea prepared by a lady, and I'm just very chill. I'm not sure what's in the tea and if it's legal, but I'm super relaxed and I'm just like vibing with the place. Besides the main vista where we just went, there's a really nice and easy to walk trail around the lake, and you also have the option of getting one of those floats and going to the center of the lake. Usually there is a small island with the flag of Ukraine, but today, since it's been raining for a couple of days, there's no more island, just the flag, so you can go to the center and back to get a view from the lake of the mountains. A tour on the float is 40 hryvnia per person, and if you want the float just for yourself, it's 250. The tour lasts 15 minutes, and there are a couple of interesting things that the tour guide says, obviously in Ukrainian, so we'll have to figure it out on the way.
Не треба було річками гребсти, потоком несли. Відкривали шлюзи, це спеціально перегачували річки, робили такі дамби, плотини, вони набиралися водою. Ну, такі, як в нас на Чорній ріці, вона була до 2 кілометрів довжки, 300 ширина.
The name of the lake, SYNEVIR, is dedicated to the love story between a rich girl called Sin and a poor shepherd called Vir. Well, I'm not sure if their love story had a happy ending, but I'm sure that their names will be forever sealed in this beautiful place. The bottom of the wooden sculpture is covered in these coins that visitors put inside for good luck. And I really hope they do get better luck. We had to stop every couple of meters because there were so many beautiful places that we have to shoot and admire. So right now we are super satisfied, we're super hungry and super tired. And our last stop for today is the restaurant. First, start with some soups, a heartwarming bograch and a mushroom soup for Eugene. We decided to stay within the mushroom theme for this lunch/dinner. I have a derun z grybami, which is potato pancake filled with mushroom sauce, and Eugene has banosh z grybami, which is a polenta-like porridge with a sauce with fresh mushrooms. Another day, another challenge. We rented some bikes and are planning to go to the Bear and Wolf Reserve. We calculated that because we are inexperienced, we will probably need around 45 minutes, so I'll keep you updated on that. Otherwise, the bikes cost 70 hryvnias per hour if you want to rent them by hour, but if you want to take them for 5 hours, it's around 300 hryvnias. We've been 50 minutes on the road, and by this time I thought we'll already be near the Bear Reserve. We still have a couple of kilometers to go, and we stopped here at this roadside cafe to get some tea, some coffee, and be on our way. We finally reached our destination, the Rehabilitation Center for the brown bear. They have around 30 bears in the whole reservation, but some of them might be sleeping. Don't feed the bears with burgers, sweets, and beverages with a straw. 30 hryvnias for an adult, and there's a parking for cars and an improvised parking for our bikes. I hope nobody steals them. All the bears that we see in the rehabilitation center are the ones that were previously in circuses or in private zoos and were not really treated well. There are bigger bears, older bears, and also smaller bears. And the general advice is not to feed the bears because when you do throw things in the cage, they tend to compete for food and they tend to fight. Just a couple of minutes ago, we had a group of school children who were feeding them with apples. That was like an official feeding party, and you could see some of the bears try to hurt each other to get more apples. Usually it's only done with the participation of the people who are working here, so if some fight arise, they can actually make the bears go their separate ways. But otherwise, I think it's such a great initiative. The bears are well taken care of, and it's nice to see them up close in a safe environment, obviously. We came to the next stop, which is Dolina Volkov. This is more of a zoo type of place. They have different animals. So we went first through the predators. There were obviously a lot of wolves and then some lions. But that was the boring part. Plus, it was really like a zoo and I'm not a big fan of them. And now we are in the section where we can feed the animals, which was pretty fun up until I dropped this carrot and now nobody wants to eat it. Can't make them eat the carrot. Maybe I'll wash it. I'll wash it because it was dropped on the poop. Yeah, you see, doesn't work. Definitely buy the carrots. It's 15 hryvnias and you can feed all the animals here and make nice photos. We made a quick stop at the ostrich farm. It's more of a touristic attraction, but I think me and Eugene are done for everything if it means getting off the bikes and walking a little bit. The bike trip is proving to be more difficult than I thought. So we stopped to feed the ostriches. The trick is that you feed them in your palm, otherwise they will chop, eat your fingers. There are different types of ostriches. They also sell eggs here, you know, stuff like that. But they do have a free museum, pretty small, with different wild animals, most of which I've seen only in in the zoo. The entry ticket to the ostrich farm is 30 hryvnias, and that includes both the museum and feeding the ostriches. I mean, like looking at the ostriches. If you want to feed the ostriches, the cabbage is 10 hryvnias additionally.
Obviously, the most comfortable and cost-effective way of getting to SYNEVIR is by your own car or by renting a car either from Lviv or Ivano-Frankivsk. But I understand that not everybody has this option, so if you don't have a car or can't rent a car like us, you can go by tour bus. I know it sounds a little bit crazy, but it's by far the most accessible, comfortable, and cheap option that you have here in the mountains. You have to understand that in the mountains, the local transportation infrastructure is inexistent. All you can rely on are taxis, and taxis here, by God, are super expensive. For 30 minutes on the road, they can charge you anywhere from 500 hryvnias and up. That is very expensive. So what you can do is get in touch with a tour bus company, explain to them that after doing all the tour, you actually want to stay in Sinevirskaya Polyana or maybe in some other location where you have your hotel. And then, stay for the amount of days that you want and then go back the same way.